Let's be honest, this might be the most awkward question you've never asked out loud. Every man has wondered it, maybe late at night, maybe after an intimate moment, but almost no one talks about it. Dr. Ross, is it safe to swallow vaginal fluids? I can see some of you already leaning closer to your screen like, wait, are we really doing this? Yes, we are. Because silence breeds fear. And fear, my friend, kills confidence faster than anything else in the bedroom. So today, we're breaking that silence, not with judgment or jokes, but with truth, science, and compassion. Stick with me until the end, because what you'll learn today will completely change how you think about intimacy, trust, and connection. I'm Dr. Rebecca Ross, a urologist and men's health specialist. For over 12 years, I've helped men protect not just their bodies, but their confidence, dignity, and relationships. And let me tell you, this topic right here, it's one of the most whispered, Googled, and quietly feared questions men have. But here, in this space, we don't whisper. We talk openly. Because intimacy should be a place of curiosity, not shame. So if you've ever worried, is it safe? Is it normal? What if something's wrong? Take a breath. You're exactly where you should be. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, a patient, let's call him David, sat across from me, fidgeting with his wedding ring. He was in his 50s, healthy, confident, successful. But that day, he could barely look up. "Dr. Ross," he whispered, "I need to ask something. Kind of embarrassing." Now, I've heard it all, but the courage it takes to ask is never small. He said, "My wife and I became intimate again after months apart. I, performed oral sex. Later I wondered, was that safe? Could I get sick? She seemed fine, but now I can't stop worrying." He hadn't slept for nights. Not because he was sick, but because he was scared. Scared that his moment of closeness might have been dangerous. Scared that his curiosity might have crossed a line. And underneath that? Shame. That's what silence does. It turns natural curiosity into anxiety. So I told him what I'm about to tell you. Knowledge removes fear. And when fear leaves, confidence returns. Most men think of vaginal fluids as some mysterious, risky substance, something hidden, unpredictable, even unclean. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, the female body is one of nature's most brilliant protectors. Vaginal lubrication isn't random moisture. It's a finely tuned biological masterpiece designed to protect, balance, and enhance pleasure. Yet somewhere between health class, locker room jokes, and awkward TV scenes, men got the wrong message. They learned to fear what they should understand. And that misunderstanding doesn't just affect safety, it affects connection. Because when you flinch, hesitate, or feel disgust instead of comfort, your partner feels it. And that tiny moment of discomfort can echo louder than you think. So in this video, we're breaking it all down, step by step. The 5 biggest mistakes men make about vaginal fluids and how to replace them with knowledge, confidence, and respect. Before we dive into mistake number 5, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching from today? Seriously, type it in the comments. I love seeing men from all over the world tuning in, learning, and growing together. Because this isn't just a medical talk. It's a conversation about trust, with your partner and with yourself. So grab a drink, relax, and let's talk like adults about something that most people are too afraid to discuss. See, when men misunderstand what's normal, they start internalizing shame. I've met men who avoid intimacy altogether because they're afraid of taste, smell, or health risks. Men who joke their way out of closeness because humor feels safer than honesty. And men who think something's wrong with their partner simply because no one ever explained how the female body actually works. That's not ignorance. That's a gap in education. And I'm here to fill that gap with empathy, science, and a bit of humor, because learning about intimacy should feel human, not clinical. By the end of this video, you'll understand what vaginal fluids really are, and why they're protective, not dirty, when they're safe, and when caution matters. How to talk with your partner about testing, hygiene, and comfort without killing the mood. And most importantly, how understanding her body builds trust, confidence, and a deeper emotional bond. Sound good? Then let's start with the first mistake. Most guys think vaginal fluids are just, well, moisture, something that happens down there. But what if I told you that every drop has a purpose, designed by biology itself? That what you think of as moisture is actually a blend of secretions, enzymes, and natural lubricants created to protect, balance, and prepare the body for intimacy. Once you understand that, everything changes. Not just your perception, but your connection. So in the next section, we'll break down mistake number 5, thinking vaginal fluids are just moisture, and why that simple misunderstanding can create confusion, insecurity, and missed pleasure for both partners. Before we continue, I want you to remember something important. These questions, the ones you're afraid to ask, they don't make you weird. They make you human. Every man who's ever cared about doing things right, respecting his partner, or wanting to understand her body better, has wondered the same things. So don't carry that curiosity like a secret. Wear it like a badge of maturity, because when we replace shame with curiosity, we open the door to real connection. And that, my friend, is where confidence begins. All right? Take a deep breath. We've only just begun. All right, gentlemen, time for some biology, the kind that'll make you appreciate nature like never before. Here's the truth. Vaginal lubrication isn't random dampness. It's a precisely engineered cocktail of protection, comfort, and chemistry. The Bartholin's glands, 2 tiny structures near the vaginal opening, release a silky, almost invisible fluid when a woman becomes aroused. Their mission? To reduce friction and prevent micro-tears during intimacy. Next up, the Skene's glands, the unsung heroes hiding near the urethra. They're responsible for additional lubrication and, yes, what some call female ejaculation. Fun fact, under a microscope, their fluid is chemically similar to prostate secretions. Surprised? You should be. Nature's got jokes. And then comes the cervix, which produces its own kind of fluid, fertile mucus, that helps maintain balance, protects against infection, and sometimes even enhances sensation. So no, vaginal fluid isn't just moisture. It's a masterpiece of biology, constantly adjusting, thicker, thinner, more or less depending on hormones, cycle, and even emotional state. Think of it as the body's way of saying, I'm ready, safe, and connected. When men don't understand this, they often misinterpret what's happening. They'll think, oh, she's not aroused, or worse, something's wrong. But in truth, each woman's rhythm and response are unique. Ever notice that the more you understand how something works, the more confident you become around it? That's the secret. Confidence in intimacy isn't about being daring, it's about being informed. Mistake number 4. Assuming taste or smell means something's wrong. Let's talk about one of the biggest misconceptions that quietly sabotages intimacy. Taste and smell. Many men panic the first time they notice variation. They think, wait, should it smell like that? Here's the reality. Variation is normal, totally normal. Just like sweat, breath, or skin scent, vaginal fluids reflect the body's chemistry. They change with diet, hydration, hormones, stress, and medication. Pineapple and berries, sweeter, lighter notes. Garlic, coffee, or alcohol, a little sharper. During ovulation, the scent might grow more neutral and abundant, nature's way of boosting fertility. Around menstruation, a subtle metallic edge. After menopause, sometimes less lubrication, a slightly more acidic tone. None of this is bad. It's biology's playlist. The only red flags are sudden unpleasant odors, itching, burning, or discharge with a strange color. That usually means an imbalance, maybe a yeast infection or bacterial vaginosis, which is easily treated. So instead of reacting with disgust or awkward jokes, respond with care. If something feels off, say, "Hey love, maybe we should both get checked and make sure everything's okay." That's how trust grows. A patient named Carlos was a 38-year-old teacher who came to see me with a simple confession. "Dr. Ross, I think I hurt my partner's feelings. I made a face once, and now she won't let me go down on her anymore." That tiny moment of hesitation crushed her confidence. So I told him, "You don't need to fake anything. You just need to understand it." We talked about pH, diet, hydration, stress, how everything can change a woman's natural chemistry. He went home, shared what he learned, and told her, "You know what? You're perfectly normal." 2 weeks later, they came back, not for a checkup, but to say thank you, because understanding brought them closer than any pill or performance hack ever could. So here's a question for you. If taste and scent can change with something as simple as what you eat or drink, what does that mean for your own body's chemistry during intimacy? Spoiler, you're about to find out in the next mistake. Mistake number 3, forgetting about health status. Now we step into the serious side, the part most men want to ignore. Yes, vaginal fluids are mostly water, amino acids, enzymes, and lactic acid. They're naturally antibacterial and protective. But like semen or blood, they can carry sexually transmitted infections. Chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, HIV. Now don't panic. The risk of contracting an infection through oral intimacy is low, especially if both partners are healthy and tested. But it's not zero. This is where courage beats denial, because the real mistake isn't exposure, it's avoidance. Avoiding the conversation about testing, status, and safety because it feels unromantic. But here's the truth. Nothing kills romance like worry, and nothing builds trust like transparency. The man who feared the worst. A patient named George, 64 years old, came to me shaking. He had recently started dating again after his divorce. One night of passion with his new partner. And suddenly he noticed his gums had bled a bit after oral sex. He Googled oral sex HIV risk and spiraled into fear. He didn't sleep for days. He couldn't eat. He was convinced he had ruined his life. We ran tests. He was completely fine. But what struck me was how lonely his fear was. When I asked, "Did you talk to your partner?" He said, "No, I didn't want her to think I was accusing her." That's the tragedy. 2 people sharing intimacy, but afraid to share truth. So I told him, "Next time, go get tested together." And guess what happened? They did. Both were negative, and they walked out of the clinic hand in hand like new teenagers. Testing didn't ruin their romance. It rebuilt it. Gentlemen, asking about testing isn't a sign of distrust. It's a sign of respect. It says, "I care enough to make sure we both stay healthy." And if you think talking about testing kills the mood, try living with anxiety. That'll drain romance faster than any conversation ever could. Here's a simple way to approach it. Instead of asking, "Have you been tested?" say, "How about we get tested together?" That way, we both know and feel safe. See the difference? It's not an interrogation. It's an invitation. Because coming up next, we'll talk about something even deeper than safety. The emotional impact of how you respond to your partner's body. Because your reaction, your facial expression, your words, can either build trust or destroy it in seconds. Now you understand how the body works and what safety means. But intimacy isn't just a science, it's a language of acceptance. So in the next part, we'll explore mistake number 2 and mistake number 1. The 2 habits that most men unknowingly use to block connection, and the simple ways to turn that around. Because at the end of the day, real confidence isn't about performance, it's about presence. Remember this, gentlemen, knowledge protects your health, compassion protects your relationship, and curiosity keeps your connection alive. Don't fear intimacy Understand it, honor it, and let it deepen your confidence. I'm Dr. Rebecca Ross, reminding you that passion doesn't fade with age. It grows stronger when guided by respect.